Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down the core categories of AI, but we're doing it a little differently. Forget the textbooks, forget the complicated diagrams. Instead, we're taking a trip to a mythical land to understand these amazing technologies as, well, elemental kingdoms. So, let's get started. Our journey to the world of Ethelgard begins right now. So, picture this. You're in a world called Ethelgard, and in this world, AI isn't just a bunch of code. It's a set of living, breathing forces. Each one has its own culture, its own purpose, its own kind of magic. This is the world we're about to explore, and trust me, it's going to make everything click. All right, our first stop is the biggest and oldest kingdom in Ethelgard, the home of the machine learners. You should think of these guys as the master builders, the architects of this entire digital world. Their capital city, Algorithmia, is just humming with activity, 24/7, always building, always learning. So what's their secret? What's their magic tool? Well, it's this incredible ability to learn directly from that endless river of data we talked about. They don't need someone to write out instructions for every single little thing. Nope. They just look at thousands or even millions of examples and figure out the patterns all by themselves. And that, right there, is the bedrock for everything else we're going to talk about. Now, inside this kingdom, you've kind of got two main groups. First, there are the Elder ML. These are the masters of the fundamentals. They're the ones laying the strong, reliable foundations. But then you have the deep architects. These are the specialists. They build these wild, complex structures we call neural networks. And these networks let them perceive the world in incredible detail, like being able to spot one specific face in a stadium full of people. Okay, so we've got our builders. Now let's move on and meet the natural language clan. If the machine learners are the builders, this clan, well, they're the communicators. They're the diplomats, the storytellers, the poets of Ethelgard. They are the absolute essential bridge between the cold, hard logic of the machines and the, let's be honest, beautiful chaos of human language. And their gift is it's so powerful. It's the ability to actually understand what we say, what we type, what we mean. They can interpret our questions, our stories, even our emotions, and then they can generate language of their own. They're the ones who give a voice to all those amazing structures the machine learners built. And you can really see their purpose in the jobs they do. You've got the translators, who just effortlessly tear down language barriers. You've got the scribes, who can read a whole library and give you the cliff notes in seconds, or even write a brand new story from scratch. And then you have the sentinels. They actually analyze messages to figure out the emotional tone. Is this person happy? Are they angry? It's pretty incredible. So, Ethelgard has its builders, and it has its communicators. But it's missing something really important to understand the world, right? It needs eyes. And that brings us to our third great faction, the computer visionaries. These are the silent watchers of the realm, and their power? Well, it's all about what they can see. Their tool is, simply put, vision. They can look at pictures, at videos, at any kind of visual information from the world around them and make sense of it. But here's the kicker. They don't just see. They interpret what they see, and then they can actually make decisions based on that information. And their powers are just so diverse. You've got the recognizers who can look at a photo and instantly tell you, that's a dog, that's a car, that's the Eiffel Tower. Then you have the trackers who can follow movement, which is, super important for things like self-driving cars or security cameras. And then there are the diagnosticians, and they have this really special kind of sight. They can look at medical scans and help doctors find things that are totally invisible to the human eye. For a really long time, those three factions, the builders, the communicators, and the watchers, were the powers in Ethelgard. But just recently, a brand new and honestly an absolutely dazzling group has shown up, the generative AI artisans. And they're different. They don't just build or talk or see. Their whole purpose is pure creation. Now, the crucial thing here is that they didn't just appear out of thin air. They're actually an evolution, a specialized offshoot of those original machine learners. They take all those foundational skills of learning from data, but they point it all towards one single incredible goal, making something totally new, something that has never existed before. And their tool? It's nothing short of real magic. You give them a simple command, a single prompt, and they can generate completely original content. We're talking about art, music, stories, code, basically anything you can possibly imagine. They are the dreamers of Ethelbach. And of course, they've formed their own guilds. You have the Aethel artists who can conjure up these breathtaking images from just a few whispered words. You've got the bards of code who can write brand new software to help the builders work even faster. And then there are the voice sculptors who can create any sound you can think of, from a perfect melody to the sound of a raging thunderstorm. So here we are. We have these four incredible factions, each with its own amazing, unique power. But the real story of Ethelgard, and honestly, the real story of AI today, isn't about which one of them is the best. It's about what happens when they all come together. It's all about synergy. Just look at how this all stacks up. It's like building something. The machine learners, they pour this solid foundation by learning from all that data. Then the natural language clan comes in and gives that foundation a voice. Then the computer visionaries give it eyes to see. And finally, the generative artisans arrive and give the whole thing a creative soul. Each layer builds on the last to create something truly intelligent. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway from our entire journey. When these elemental forces of AI, machine learning, NLP, computer vision, and generative AI, when they all work together in concert, they do something absolutely extraordinary. They transform that raw river of data into genuine intelligence. And that intelligence, well, it breathes life into our digital world. So as we leave the magical realm of Ethelgard, I want to leave you with this one final thought. We are actually watching this grand unification happen in the real world, right now. These forces are combining in ways we're only just beginning to wrap our heads around. So the question isn't really what they can do separately anymore. The real question is, what entirely new realities will they create together? The story